it says so $113,753.13. That does align with around the acquisition time. And then it says a building expense for $40,927. To your point, the roof and HVAC systems here, it says it's $37,500. Center, visitor center, another $16,225.70.
That was the
2015.
You kind of draw a line under the code numbers, like 12073.
Okay.
That's where the lines go.
Okay. And then, so then the flooring, so visitor center flooring would be $6,384.
Yes.
And then visitor
Yes.
center improvements would be $26,500. And then there's the land acquisition cost in February as well, which is $856.60. So now, hold on one second. So it looks like, I don't see a grant, Ivy. I see a welcome center building acquisition cost, and then also the land acquisition cost that equal, I think, the $357,500.
Right, there was a community legacy grant which was reimbursed, so as with all DHCD grants, we put the initial outlay and then we receive funding back for that.
Do you have that exact?
If you look under market value, the third paragraph
Yes.
mentions the $125,000 community legacy grant.
Right.
That was for the purchase, but then there was a subsequent roofing grant.
That I don't see.
Okay. So that's right.
Well, so just all told, what's on the sheet is like $489,000. So it's reasonable to say that improvements financed by the town equal and purchase around $489,000, right?
I think there's a Humphrey Foundation for $150,000.
Yeah, less the grants. I would say that's.
So 340,000-ish. I'm just trying to get a figure on how much has been put in. Ish.
Okay. All right. And then, all right, so then below that, the staff report has the market value for future leasing and or sale. With the ideal location directly on Main Street, along with 7 parking spaces, the building lease would be about $4,500 per month. If the front of the building were to be leased approximately 1,500 square feet and the rear of the building remained as storage for the town of Berlin, the lease could run about $2,500 a month. Approximate value for the building in the current climate would be about $500,000 to $700,000. With the stipulation, we would need to repay the $125,000 community legacy grant to help fund the purchase.
Question on that part, because that's clear, but the Humphreys grant, found it that they do often give grants, and if the dollars are ever not used for the intended purposes, they are required to be paid back. That's just, and maybe we'll know the answer today, but I wonder if that grant, the Humphreys Foundation, so if the property were to change hands, and we were to go into the private sector, it was, if the funding came through the Humphreys Foundation and others, but it was for the intent of, back then, the intent was what was on paper here. So I'm just curious about that down the road, if the Humphreys Foundation is something that they would have to be reimbursed, the $150. Yes.
Sometimes there are timelines on that. You know, it has to be used for this purpose for 20 years.
Right.
So
Steve, I
we're
believe
check.
you're correct. I'm pretty sure you're correct on that.
Well, I think
that it would need to be repaid, or that there might be a time
Well, I'm
stipulation.
familiar with how the foundation set up. I mean, certainly you would check, but I have a feeling he's correct.
That it would need to be repaid.
But now I'm pretty sure the groups, at least the intent that I saw of this meeting tonight is not to have action on anything.
No.
It's merely a discussion among the group to see what other information we want to know.
Right.
And then maybe chart a path toward how we want to proceed.
When is the renovation for this building due to be completed?
It will begin in December.
That's
The visitor center will start being closed in September.
After Labor Day weekend, so we can go through everything, and I know that town hall staff has been boxing up files and they need to be brought over.
But then as far as the completion of the renovation, Sarah, Mary, do you have?
I mean, she said.
I think spring.
Summer.
Summer.
Let's say
Yeah.
summer, but you know how those things go.
Of 2026?
Of
Yes.
26.
Huh?
All right, does that help?
Yeah.
So then, let's see, somewhere in, I think from there we can open it up to our discussion. I think that's about the background of it. You see the ideas in front of you about how it could be used in the future, but really I've talked a lot, so now I'll open it up to all of you.
Yeah, could we hear from the public?
Yeah, but I'd like to hear from us first, to see if there's anything in the staff report, and then we can always open it up to the parties that are here.
Well, the only thing I was, just because you read that part about the community legacy grant, I just was curious if the Humphreys Foundation fell into the same category. I think that's part of the big piece of the puzzle for our decision-making process. Because obviously, if the property were to be unloaded, the net just went way down. We have to pay that back. So that's just my inclination. But I really come into this with an open mind to hear what the folks that call it home now would like to see in the vision, and that's all I really have.
I think this discussion is somewhat premature with the plan for the renovation to be completed sometime late spring or early summer. The information we have here now with market value and things of this nature will probably change 4 or 5 times before actual decision is ready to be made. So I'm here to listen and gather information as to the possibilities. But if you want some type of direction from me, I'm not at the point to share that or to share those opinions because of how early this discussion is.
And that's good to hear because as you may recall, when this came up about wanting to hold a work session now, that was the direction that staff gave was, hey, look, it's really early. It's honestly, like you said, I'm using your word, premature, because we honestly don't know at the end of the day what we're going to need, right? We think that everything we'll need will be under town hall's roof, but we don't know the answer to that.
No, we don't.
And right now, it's serving a current use, and yes, it's helping out community organizations as well, but it's going to get ready and help us through the renovation process and be a point where the public can still engage with staff if they need to meet with somebody. And then after that, we really don't know what direction it's going to go. So I have to agree with you. Councilmember Ward?
Well, I'm a planner, and I think that, I'm here to hear and see what options are available because when you said the summer of 2000 of next year, is that when this building is anticipated to be done?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're going to go on that timeline, that is, we'll just basically say a year from today. So I don't want to sit here a year from today and have this discussion totally again on, are we going to keep the building? Who's going to be in it? What type of stuff can we do with it? I think that this is now the time to have those discussions. We don't have to make decisions per se right now, but we should at least have the discussion. And that's why I wanted to, or I was glad that the council decided to have the work session now. And I'm very curious to hear what the folks who came today have to say.
All right, well, I think that if we open it up to the public, the only thing I would like to say to the group, I would like to wrap up public discussion at 4:45, so it gives us a little bit of time to.
5:45.
5:45, my apologies. I need some glasses. Can I borrow yours?
Sure.
But to wrap that up so that we have a little bit of time to discuss fully as a group, if there are any remaining information that we need to get from staff, or if there's any ideas floating around. So whoever would like to go first, I'd say probably try to keep the comments to about 5 minutes or so per group.
Well, if we can, we'll just take the lead and then introduce those. I'm Lisa Challenger, the Executive Director of the Beach to Bay Heritage Area.
Melissa Reed, President Taylor House Museum.
And yes, we just wanted to come today to discuss what I would see and others as a vision for the use of this building. And, you know, if it's going to come down to hard, fast dollars, it's going to be hard to compete. But when you think about the mix in a town, community and commerce, and those two things as a Main Street model, blending those two things together, you know, our vision is to, and you just got this sheet today, so I apologize that you probably haven't had a chance to read it, but take the existing building and really turn it into a multi-use and with office space, with these, what they call hot desks or hotel desks, businesses that you refer to, the radio station, and then turning the front into a real community hub of a cultural heritage interpretive center. And this would be a regional center, so it would include historic sites and places outside of Berlin proper. So it would include the Germantown community and the Germantown School, and it would include Radcliffe House perhaps, and the Ocean City Museum, Calvin Taylor for sure. And, you know, we see being able to go after grants with a partnership with the town. We love a partnership model and using our resources to add a really terrific destination on Main Street. Grants for the building, grants for really premier exhibits, and make this kind of a cultural anchor to safeguard our history and heritage and traditions. And we have a list of funders that we would definitely go after. I feel that we would have a good amount of success, but this could really be a model for a cooperative public-private partnership. And I did want to tell you just a little story as I was thinking about this. Back when the town had just, the hotel had just been renovated and the town was really starting to come alive, and Jim Barrett brought a bunch of folks together over here, right across the hall, and Ed Hammond, and it was really a visioning of what do we want our town to look like, and almost more what we don't want our town to be. And they were really intentional about what they wanted, and they turned away businesses that they didn't feel were fit. They wanted what they knew they wanted. They had this vision, and that vision is, you know, what you see out here today. It's fabulous. I just don't want to see us, and this might sound terrible, but I don't want to see us just throw these kinds of ideas away because you just want to make a fast grab and you want to make the money, and let's make the money on the building. And if the economy were to turn, maybe we are at a point where we are looking at a vision for the future as well. And if we are continuing on this path, do we want to incorporate more of those community stories and heritage and make our Main Street really have a local vibe and not just retailers from out of town? And it's a great Main Street. I just think that a community place would add to that mix. And it would be a place for bus groups. We would still see the visitor center as a place for, like the Fiddlers Convention, they use that space as sort of a hospitality suite to get out of the heat and to go and have some food. And those kinds of uses, I think we forget how often it is used. And so I know that there's been anecdotal information about the Welcome Center and how many people come in and really talk about where can I find this, or this business used to be here, are they still there? And the Welcome Center really serves as a role, a manned center to send people into the stores and restaurants and places that they're looking for. And I know Mike is here, and he's had a long history of volunteering in the center. Diana Purnell is here as a board member of the Germantown School. And Mike, you had your hand up.
I was going to, when you were finished, I was just going to give a little outline on how the ambassador program started from the very beginning with Michael Day and myself and Olive Moyer. So.
Do you want to talk? Let Mike talk? What do you want to do, Melissa? Get here, buddy. Yeah. You want to pull a chair up? Pull a chair up.
Okay.
I got it.
Because I think having a person talk to somebody is so important, and it's who this town is.
Thank you.
You know, we talk to our neighbors and our friends and our visitors, and we want them to go to these places